Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And I'm Father Steve Sellers, and this is my little slowpoke puppy Dot today, getting a big bone with a little bit of peanut butter in it. And this is our brief daily message of hope. And I've been thinking a lot about this song and a lot of others this morning. 45 years ago yesterday, I went to work in the morning for my job, and I had an outline of what I needed to get accomplished that day. I was working as a general assignments reporter for the morning newspaper in Memphis, Tennessee, the Commercial Appeal. And yesterday on August the 16th, 45 years ago, my plans all changed dramatically by the middle of the afternoon when the word got out without internet, without cell phones, simply the rotary dial phones, and some people had pagers, some people had CB radios, but the word got out by the middle of the afternoon, 45 years ago yesterday, that Elvis Presley had died. And I was one of the team of reporters working for the morning newspaper in Memphis when Elvis died on August the 16th of 1977 in Memphis, Tennessee. And our worlds changed dramatically. Our plans for the next several weeks were just tossed out the window, and we focused on what was the biggest story that was happening around the world back then. And of course, over the years, I have talked to my students about covering the death of Elvis Presley. And just a few years ago, I was talking to some middle schoolers, just a few years ago. And they wanted to know, I said I had covered the death of Elvis Presley and was there when it happened and was working for a newspaper, and we reported the stories that came out of that. Elvis was front page for weeks. Any new bit of information was major. People were crying out for more and more information about Elvis and his life and about his death. And I was talking to these middle schoolers, and they said, well, what was it like covering the death of Elvis Presley? And I said, well, it was a lot like the death of Michael Jackson, except without the internet, without cell phones, without instant communication throughout the world. And this is when I know I'm getting old. One of my students said, who's Michael Jackson? So it's almost like when I teach history and talk about the war in Vietnam, and I might as well be talking about the Peloponnesian War from the 7th century BC. But things happen that change our plans every day. And it's so important for us to remember that wonderful song of Elvis. First of all, Love Me Tender. And remember that God presides over all. He brings into being all things in creation and has always done so. Life comes from God, and he receives life when it's over. And so Elvis had a very short life. He lived to be 42 years old. So he's been dead now for 45 years, 3 years longer than he was actually alive, and his legacy continues. And at the heart of it, if you've seen the Elvis movie that's out, you know that he, at his heart, was a gospel singer. He loved the old gospel songs, and so do I. That's why I put so many of them on this YouTube channel. But remember that God is presiding over all, and he's with you. He has a very close perspective on you. He's with you all the time, and he will never leave you or forsake you. He's given you that promise. So lift up your hearts today and know that the Lord is right there with you. And I hope you have a blessed day today, and God willing, Dot and I will see you here again tomorrow. Have a blessed day.